Hazvina kumira zvakanaka mhuri Zimbabwe. Tiri kuti makadi mose mativi nenyika yeZimbabwe kusangana zvekare pano pachivhitivhiti chenyu patinokupai nyaya nemalatest updates anenge achiitika munyika yeZimbabwe. Tiri kutaura kuti isusu tareceiva information kubva kumilitary intelligence iri kuzivisa mhuri yeZimbabwe nekuda kwekuti makomrades ari kumilitary intelligence akawanda acho haasi kuenderana kana kuti havasi kuwirirana nezviri kuitwa nezvigananda. Naizvozvo nekuda kwekuti vanhu vanenge vari pabasa vanenge vachitedzera maprotocols ebasa ravo vanozoita kakulikisa imwe information kuti isvike kuruzhinji rweZimbabwe. Asi vimbiso pamwe chete nemashoko avataura panapa, mashoko andinoda kuti ndikupei avari kuti whether he likes it or not, Mnangagwa will be constitutionally and peacefully removed. This time in any way never seen before. It is going to be sooner or later. To those who are siding with him and involved in criminal activities, he will not be there when you face your fate. Naizvozvo muri Zimbabwe warning iri kupiwa kune avo vakafanana nepresidential mafia, vakafanana neanti-presidential criticism nezvimwe zvigananda pamwe chete nemamwe ma-MPs ari kushandiswa kuabducta mamwe ma-MPs eopposition. Naizvozvo muri Zimbabwe tinokutendai nekuteerera kwenyu kukuru kwamunoita pano pachivhitivhiti. Tange tauya kuti tikupe information iyi, asi nekuda kwekuti tinemwe information futi yatinayo tichakusiyai makateerera kubva kumakomrades edu pano pachivhitivhiti chenyu.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Ndamuvwa na on guard kuti ndiwe panapa. Chandamuvwa na on guard ndechekuti titaure kuti muri kuitei. What are you doing other than constantly talking about things that are theoretical? Let us unite. Let us do something. Let us do something without spelling out what the doing something is. So I'm going to say what I'm doing and I'm going to say what the challenges are, where I am not finding support from the people that constantly speak about wanting Zimbabwe to be better, but I cannot see the follow-through. So I've been rallying people to join different institutions that I know that I am connected to, institutions that are political parties, institutions that are civic organizations, institutions that are just citizens, more formal for a formulation or grounding other than citizens that are grouping together. I'm sure some of them even belong in one or two together, but the participation is not commensurate with the number of people that listen here, even the number of people that speak. So as an action, I rally people to participate. The setback is ours to participate. I think one of kutaura about participation vasingadi participate kwacho. That is the truth, especially when it comes to people that speak here and also people that listen on this platform and many other platforms. The other thing that we're doing is, as a political institution, those who didn't remember, a political institution, is we are rallying people to the final core. Final core is to demonstrate within Zimbabwe her borders, demonstrate outside her borders, wherever she has territory, sovereign territory, which is the embassies, such as the action that were taken by Chennai. I think you're aware of that. Through you participated in that, you participated also in planning of it, conversations and facilitating things of that nature. Right, and we're calling people to that action. But again, our people are fixated. You can say through and it no sangana pa embassy, no sangana Jesus, no sangana maybe na Titus. But the rest of the people that listen don't want to come through. So that's my other challenge. Are the people that speak, are the people that listen, truly intending to see Zimbabwe get better? The people that put the likes, the comments, the retweets. Where are you? That's the short form. I also write. The reason why I write particularly about the discussions in Parliament and how they affect us. But the motivating factor is so that we have the solutions written down. Here you have people constantly talking about solutions as figments, things that are in the air. What is the solution? What is the solution? So I write down so that when someone says, what is the solution? I can point to them to say, this is the solution, but you did not participate in the reading or simply the spreading of information. That's another challenge. There's a lot of information that we generate, a lot of action points that we generate, but people don't want to share. They don't want. So you begin to think, is this, are the conversations mainly a point of entertainment? People that are bored with their occupations during the day, so they just then participate for the sake of moving time, not necessarily with the objective of filling their country. Zvakafanira kuti izvizvi parliament yakawerenga parliamentary the committee findings, the report on the consultations. And a lot of people would say, maybe zvatoendwa. I think one of my brothers was just saying that not so long ago, about let's speak about post Camp 3. As such as there's a lot of things that can happen before Camp 3 is passed. Camp 3 can even fail just in the Senate. And I think I wrote an article on that, of how the Senate can easily stop Camp 3. Just as a brief on that, Senate is made up of CCC members, made up of MD, ZANU-PF members, and made up of 2 appointees from the disability representatives, and also made up of chiefs. The chiefs combined with the CCC members and combined with the disability representatives make up 47 seats. And the ZANU-PF cannot get to the required 55 seats. So it's 47 seats out of 80 seats that are held by these parties that do not necessarily belong to ZANU-PF. So if those people were persuaded to vote otherwise, ZANU-PF, this bill could easily die just in the parliament. Include the citizens. The question would be, how do you persuade them? You flood your MPs with written information telling them how to vote. You flood your chiefs from villages that you come from with written information that has evidence. This is what I told the chief. And I delivered these letters to the chief. I delivered these to his messages, everything that you can put evidence on as an example. And they could easily vote to say, well, the bill is wrong. Then I'll come back to today's issue, the report that was read yesterday in Parliament, and what can be done to stop that. Immediately, Parliament was to preside over something illegal, something that clearly outright contradicts the constitution, the unamended constitution. It breaches section 3287. And that is just grounds for people to actually go and seek litigation against the parliament and what it is trying to do. And that will stop the bill. Second thing, but you have to reach out to them. Ask Maduk what help does he need. Ask the what else can we do? Ask the office that are also in court challenging these things. What are the other applications that we can do? IMINI as my citizens here gathered could even give a mandate. Rule titsvagire lawyer, we're going to pay. Dr. Tadini titsvagire lawyer, where do we we're going to pay, and we're going to put our own case. The case that we want, sort of a 67 of our file against my MPs. This is yedu 68. Yedu 68 is not filed against an MP, it is filed against the entire parliament for entertaining something that is illegal, that outright tries to disregard law, the unamended constitution. You see, but we don't hear that talk because people here are not here to solve problems. That's the conclusion that I'm slowly coming to. They are here for the argument, the entertainment that comes from constant bickering. And maybe, I wouldn't know what the motive would be, especially I think there's so many other places to have engagement. But anyway, sticking to the solutions, that's one solution. And if people were true, they should be able to deal with such a case and then present their own case. Just tweet. This is what we're going to do. And it retweeted, it meet in Citizens Speak Out. Yeah, Scotty. The second thing that citizens can do is to demand an audit, an administrative audit. Kutoti alright, thousands are kutaura anditi government yakati 470,000 vakanyora tsamba dzikadeliverwa physically. You can demand an audit covered for you by section 129 yeconstitution kuti toda kuti mutiverengere kuti zveshuwa pakapinda tsamba here, and you want to see the physical letters, and you'll notice that there are no physical letters that were delivered, or if the physical letters are there, you're going to see that mablank pana chakanyorwa mutsamba. Kana asiri mablank, you're going to see that they are uniform, but it's exactly the same thing that was written on every single one of those letters, or at least it's 10 variations. It's just 10 letters that have been varied, or at most maybe 20. I don't even think they're that creative. Then that is just repeated, maybe in different languages, is what you're going to see. So there are things that citizens can actually do, tiri pa stage patiri, that have just been triggered by kuwerengwa kwereport kwakaitwa nezuro. Civic societies, which goes back to you, the citizens, and us, can actually continue to do a sampling of the society. The society iri kudei. Tinogona kutotanga kuita edu tega consultations, virtual consultations such as this one. Scotty can easily say, you know what, nasi tingone one thing that we're doing. Unwesa ari kupinda paspace panapa, chaari kungoita ndechekuti declare opinion yake tikureport kuti anofunga kuti chii nezvebill. Chatongoita ndezvekuti unoti zita rako ndinonzi Tadini Masaya. Ndinonzi Tadini Masaya, ndiri muZimbabwe. Even ID number yangu ndeiyi. And then ndiri kuti inini I don't want. And then you can also submit those to your MPs. This is the alternative verification. You can submit it to the civic groups. Kutimi makaita yenyu statistical collection ye data yenyu. We did our own samples and we're contradicting your numbers. Your numbers do not make sense. These are the actual actions that people can take. Finally, my citizens can do the ultimate. They can launch my petitions, section 149. No, that one going to petition a parliament again with the parliamentarians. This also to vote this way. Because I've voted that way, it means that as a parliamentarian, you're not representing us. So if you look at your constituencies, they are divided, and they're divided to host between 15 to 20,000 people being represented by each parliamentarian. So if that is the case, then every parliamentarian can retrieve a petition in iri 2,000. Kana iri 2,000, that speaks to almost 10% of his voter base. And some of them don't even have a voter base that big, because we saw the elections. Why will anima 4,000, 10,000, right? If you do that, they are supposed to vote according to what those letters say. That is one petition. Then the obvious thing, if that doesn't work and they still do evidence, is the people presenting themselves, activating section 56 and 59 of the Constitution. Kutopinda pa road kuti taakunoita sei, taakunodemonstrate. And this is zvinoitwa nevanhu vanonzwisisa kuti it's not a matter of kusimbira kumuromo, just talking and constant talking and then scrutinizing, overturning personalities, insulting personalities, overturning solutions that are proposed. But it comes from a people that are willing to implement. The piece that I just wrote today can be used as evidence. The numbers that are being presented by the Joint Committee of Parliament are rubbish. They do not make any statistical sense. If you look at that piece, it breaks down kuti kana vari kuti vakareceiva 470,000 letters physical deliveries. Pa 470,000 zvinoreva kuti per day parliament aifanira kukwanisa kuprocessa 5,200 letters every single day. Parliamentary staff should be able to process, which is to open, read, catalog, and archive every letter. They should have been able to do 5,000 letters a day, including from our weekends, including from our holidays, non-stop. That's what they should have been doing. They don't have the capacity to do that. It's absolute madness. And then the other thing is you have a ratio of 400 to 32 as to 1. 432 vari kuti tinoda 1 ndiye ari kuti handidi. Ndozviri kutaura sample data ravo when it comes to those deliveries that we had delivered. But data riri kuuya online virtually riri spin, riri the opposite, 2:1, which means kuti part of a contradiction, none of the data is admissible, you see. Asi zvese izvi zvinokwanisa kungoshanda chete kana tine macitizens asiri kuda kusimbira kumuromo. Macitizens ari kuita zvinenge zvataurwa naOnGuard kuti uri kuitei. Tell us, what are you doing? Before you start to spill beans about the next person or asking the next person to unite with you, what do you want them to unite with you in doing? You want them to unite with you in calling for unity? But do you want them to unite in you in demonstrating? Do you want them to unite in writing about the information